entered into this consciousness. There is attention and inattention. Inattention is wastage of energy. Attention is energy. When there is observation that consciousness is messy, that...
This is one of a series of dialogues between J. Krishnamurti, David Bohm, Rupert Sheldrake, and John Hidley. The purpose of these discussions is to explore essential questions about the mind. What is psychological disorder, and what is required for fundamental psychological change? J. Krishnamurti is a religious philosopher, author, and educator who has written and given lectures on these subjects for many years. He has founded elementary and secondary schools in the United States, England, and India. David Bohm is professor of theoretical physics at Birkbeck College, London University in England. He has written numerous books concerning theoretical physics and the nature of consciousness. Professor Bohm and Mr. Krishnamurti have held previous dialogues on many subjects. Rupert Sheldrake is a biologist whose recently published book proposes that learning in some members of a species affects the species as a whole. Dr. Sheldrake is presently consulting plant physiologist to the International Crops Research Institute in Hyderabad, India. John Hidley is a psychiatrist in private practice who has been associated with the Krishnamurti School in Ojai, California for the past 6 years. In the first two dialogues, consideration has been given to the process of self-identification. A range of subjects has been related to this process, including the problem of suffering, the role of thinking and memory, images, and the uniqueness or commonality of consciousness. Can these processes be observed, and what is the relationship of observation to order, responsibility, and change? Today's discussion focuses on the question, is there such a thing as absolute psychological security?
We'd like to talk about the question of whether there is a deep security, whether the self can be dissolved. You've suggested that if that's possible, then the problems that the individual brings to the office, the problems...
So why do we seek security, apart from physical, apart from terrestrial security? Why do we want security?
Well, we know moments of peace and happiness, and we want to stabilize that and hold that.
Is that... then that becomes a memory. It's
Yes.
not actual security. A memory that one day we were happy, and I wish one would go back to it. Or you project an idea and a hope someday to achieve it.
Yes.
But why is it that human beings, probably throughout the world, seek security? What is the raison d'etre? I mean, what is the demand for security? What makes people ask for security, psychologically?
Well, they're occupied, they're filled with their problems. There's the feeling that if I can solve the problem, if I can find out what the right answer is, if the...
That's not security, surely. There is great uncertainty, great sense of emptiness in oneself, loneliness. Really, loneliness is, let's take that for example.
Okay.
I may be married, I may have children and all the rest of it, but I still feel isolated, lonely. And it's frightening, depressing, and I realize it is isolating. It is, after all, loneliness, the essence of isolation, in which I have no relationship with anybody. Is that one of the reasons why human beings seek this desire for security?
Yes, to fill that up.
Or much deeper than that? to be secure in my fulfillment, to be secure in my, to be free of fear, free of my agony. I want to be free of all that so that I can be completely secure in peace and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we want?
Yes.
Is that the reason why we seek?
And we want that to be stable over time.
Stable and permanent, if there is anything permanent. Is that the reason why we crave this demand, crave for security?
Yes.
That means to be free from fear, and then I'm totally secure.
And it feels like I have to be that way in order to function adequately.
Function adequately comes later.
What do you mean?
If I'm secure, I'll function.
Yeah.
If I'm very anchored in something which I think is false or true, I'll act according to those two principles.
Mm-hmm.
But is it that human beings incapable of solving this deep-rooted fear, for example, I'm taking fear, and they have not been able to solve it?
Yes, that's right.
Psychological fears.
Yeah.
And to be free from that is to be so marvelously secure.
You're saying that if we can solve these problems at a fundamental level.
Otherwise, what's the point? How can I be totally secure?
Yeah.
So, is it the physical security of bread, of shelter, food and clothes spill over to the psychological field? You understand what I mean?
Do you mean, is that where the psychological feeling of the need for security comes from?
Yeah, come partly.
Uh-huh.
That one must have food and clothes and shelter.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely essential. Otherwise you four wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah.
In the search of that, psychologically also I want to be equally secure.
They seem to be equated.
Yes, I'm questioning whether it is so.
Yes.
Or the psychological desire to be secure prevents physical security.
It seems like the psychological desire to be secure arises out of the necessity to function in reality.
I want to be psychologically secure.
Yes.
So I'm attached to a group, a community, a nation.
Yes.
Which then prevents me from being secure. Security means long-lasting security. But if I identify myself in my search for psychological security and attach myself to a nation, that very isolation is going to destroy me. So, why do we seek this?
Okay, then you're saying that there is a mistake, which is that we identify ourselves, attach ourselves to something, and seek security in that, and that's fundamentally wrong.
Yeah, no, not fundamental. Why? No, I won't say right or wrong.
Okay.
I'm asking